What's up, YouTubers? Today I want to give you a 2-month review on the Tudor Pelagos 39. Just kind of give you my opinion so far, maybe compare it to the Rolex Submariner 1240-60 and the Pelagos 42. Some of you guys might have seen the video I put out a few months back about the Submariner 1240-60. I really enjoyed that piece, but there was a few complaints I had about it, and just things that didn't really fit my lifestyle. And before that, I had a Pelagos 42 for quite a while. I've enjoyed both of those watches, just kind of on the quest to find what I consider the perfect black diver. This one, I think, could be it. You know, opinions change over time, but so far, I really like this watch. First thing about this watch is titanium. I absolutely love titanium on a timepiece. This thing is probably the lightest full bracelet watch that I've ever worn. I think it comes in at about 100 grams. I think it's 107 grams versus 160 grams on the Submariner. It just wears like a dream, honestly. It's pretty amazing when you put this on. I also love the look, the satin brushed finish of this titanium. You know, it's got that just a really subdued look, and I really enjoy it. The wearability of this is amazing. It's just so light. It wears really, really nice. One of the complaints that a lot of people have about the grade 2 titanium is that it scratches, and it does scratch easy. For me, it doesn't really bother me. I think that it's a little overblown. You can see the scratches if you really look at the bracelet, but you have to look pretty close to really notice the scratches. And if it is an issue for you, they do polish out pretty quick, but for me, it doesn't really bother me. The clasp does show scratches pretty significantly, but like I said, it doesn't really bother me, and if it does bother you, you can polish them out. But I think the trade-off of having micro scratches is well worth the weight and wearability of titanium. I don't know, as far as titanium versus steel, I'll take titanium any day. Next, the case size on this 39, the bezel overhangs, and it measures at about 40. So I don't know if it wears like a 40, but it does present the dial and the bezel almost, presents itself as a 40. I really, really love this case size. I think it is about perfect for me. I've got a 6.75-inch wrist, and I think that this size just wears perfect for me. I think the 41 of the Submariner is very, very good on my wrist as well, but I think this one is a little better. I always loved the Pelagos 42, but it is a very chunky watch, and it's a little bigger. It's not outside of my ability to wear. As far as size goes, it still looks good, but it is a chunky watch, and I think that this size wears a little better on my wrist. I do have a Pelagos FXD. It's 42. I love it. The 42 is a little more legible. It's a little faster and easier to read, but this one is easy as well. The dial's a little bit smaller, but it's still very, very readable, and it's a great size. I absolutely love it. I think that for medium to smaller wrists, this size is perfect. Case shape, I love the Rolex and Tudor case shapes. I just think that they're just perfect. I really like the pointed crown guards on this P39. You've got the signed crown with the Tudor shield there. I really like the chamfered edges on the case. I absolutely love this case. I think it's about perfect in my opinion. Inside the case, you've got the in-house movement MT5400, 70-hour power reserve. I don't have a time grapher, but I've always monitored my watches through time.gov, and all of my Tudors with in-house movements have kept excellent time. It is COSC certified as well. It keeps great time. At some point, I'm gonna get a time graph and see exactly what it is, but every time I check it, it's within 5 or 10 seconds from where I set it days before. I absolutely love these cases. They're just, for me, they're perfect. I like the satin finish of the titanium. One of my complaints on the Submariner was that polished case sides. They just caught a lot of light, and I think this one is more my style. The other big thing for me between the Submariner and this, and really all of the Tudor Pelagos line, is the bezel insert. The Submariner bezel insert is so shiny. It's just so reflective. It catches a lot of light, and it was just a little too reflective for my liking. This one is got that sun ray. I guess it's a satin sun ray finish ceramic insert, and I love it. It looks different in different lights. It almost looks gray in certain lights, and it's got a little bit of reflectivity, but nothing like the Submariner. I think maybe I prefer the full matte bezel insert of the Pelagos 42, but I do really like this one as well. It's very appealing to the eye. The actual dial is said to have a sunray finish as well. I've never noticed it. For me, it just kind of looks like a deep black satin finish dial. I know that the sunray finish is there, but I don't see it. I do love this dial. It's very simple, symmetrical. I love the square, triangle, rectangle indices that Tudor uses on the Pelagos line. For me, I think that the Pelagos line really is the perfect modern dive watch. As far as the text on the dial, I'm kind of a minimal text guy. This is not bad. You've got 3 lines in white, 1 in red, and I could go with a line or 2 less, but the red Pelagos text really almost doesn't even look like a line of text. So it almost just looks like there's 3 lines there. It's not bad. They're symmetrical the way that they kind of angle upwards. So I really like that. The rehaut is a little different from the Pelagos 42. The Pelagos 42 had that stepped with the indices inset in there. This one is just a straight stepped rehaut with minute track, and I absolutely love it. It's just very simple. I think a lot of people might want a little more, I don't know, features or something there, but I like simple. This thing is simple, and I love it. Love the snowflake hands that Tudor does. They are probably my favorite handset in all of watches. I prefer them over the Mercedes hands of the Submariner. Lume on this, absolutely excellent lume. It's got that creamy white, very bright lume. There has been some complaints as far as the variation of the hands to the indices, and I'll try to get a lume shot, see if I can show you. There is a little bit of variation. I think that the hands are a little bit just slightly dimmer than the indices. It's not a big deal. It doesn't bother me, but there is a little bit of a variation there, so be aware of that. As a whole, I absolutely love the dial. It is, for me, probably about the perfect dive dial. Going back to the bezel real quick, 60-click bezel, very, very positive clicks. You can hear that. It's amazing. Unidirectional, as you would expect from Tudor. Really like that. I'm also, I'm a no-date guy. I don't really usually go for date watches unless, I guess, maybe the Cyclops is all right. I don't like the look of the Cyclops, but readability, it's great. Moving on, the bracelet. This is where I have a few small complaints. It is an excellent bracelet, but I don't know. Well, first I'll I'll get into the taper. Taper's great. Wearability's great. You know, you've got the 21 millimeter lug width. Some people complain about it. I guess if you want to wear straps, it's not the best size. For me, this will stay on a bracelet, so it doesn't bother me. The Submariner had the 21 millimeter lug width as well. Both of that watch and this one are going to stay on a bracelet, so I don't have a problem with 21. Nice taper down. The clasp is kind of where we get a couple of small complaints. It is a very nice clasp. The T-fit is nice. You've got some adjustability there. I like that. I keep it kind of on one of the tighter settings right about there. And then if my wrist swells a little bit, I'll bump it out. It's got enough adjustment for me. The Submariner glide lock is better. It's smoother. It's got more adjustability, but this is a nice micro adjustment. One of the problems I have is this diver's extension. You know, I know they made this for wear over a wetsuit. For me, it's too big. You know, I can put this on over a 2-1 wetsuit and there's just too much there. I guess, you know, even on a 3-2, I think it's going to be too much length. Maybe if you were wearing a dry suit, it might be right, but I think you add about an extra inch in there when you extend that, and I just think it's too much. I think it's unnecessary. I think that they made the clasp longer in order to house that dive extension, and I just think it's unnecessary. I think 99% of people are never going to use that, if not 99.9. And the clasp is, you know, the length of the clasp has been a complaint with a lot of people. And, you know, it doesn't really bother me. It is a little on the long side. If you have it centered correctly, it's not a big deal, but they could have shortened it if they would have gotten rid of that dive extension. And I don't know. I just think that, you know, I know that Pelagos is trying to make true dive watches. I just think that was not executed as well as it could have been. The clasp itself is very nice. I really like that T-fit adjustment. I enjoyed the Pelagos 42. The spring-loaded adjustment was very nice as well. But like I said, the Rolex Glide Lock is the king, in my opinion. The clasp is beautiful. You know, you've got the little Tudor shield there. That's your opener. And it's very attractive. I just think it could have been a little shorter. My biggest complaint, which is not huge, is this clasp is a little sharp around the edges. I was pretty surprised when I took this out of the box and put it on. The edges on this, I'm not sure, you know, why Tudor didn't notice this, but they should have kind of worked those edges down. I've honestly considered taking a very fine sandpaper and just kind of working these corners and the edge of this clasp. It's not a big deal, but it does kind of catch on clothing, and I've had it catch on some different things before. So I just think that it was something that got overlooked and it could have been a little better. That's really my only complaint as far as, you know, my biggest complaint, I guess, on this clasp. The bracelet's nice. Dive extension, pointless in my opinion. T-fit's great. You know, just, I don't know, polish those edges a little bit. I don't know, take them down a little bit. I probably will end up doing it. But overall, I absolutely love this watch. I think this could possibly be my forever black diver. You know, opinions do change over time, so we'll see where this goes. But I really like this. If you've got a medium to smaller wrist, I think this could be the perfect black diver. Anyway, if you haven't watched my Tudor or my Rolex Submariner 1240-60 video, it's a couple months back. It'll kind of give you some of my likes and dislikes about the Submariner. And, you know, this is the replacement, and I think this one may remedy all of those dislikes. So if you have any questions, put them down below. As always, thanks for watching.